Welcome, everybody, to Unity this morning. My name is Dyann Castro-Wehr, and I'm your service assistant today. Today, our minister, Frank Castro-Wehr, will be giving the talk, and the talk title is Traversing the Awareness Gate. Hey, ooh, are you ready to traverse with us? All right. And we're happy to welcome the music ministry today, which includes our guest, J.P. Falcon. So happy to have you here. And our dear friends, Kathy Murray and Kate Curtis. Yes.
When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my love go deeper, my love go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my love go deeper, my love go deeper into my God. Right now, here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God.
And from this quiet place, as we enter into our time of reflection, I invite you to think of those who are on your heart, who may not be here with us today. Maybe somebody who would like to be here today, but is not able to be here. Or anyone in need of prayer. Let's say those names out loud or speak them quietly in your heart as we go into our time of reflection. Eugenia. and gratitude and trusting in the power of prayer, we offer these names and these situations. Our reflection today comes from the daily word, and it's transitions. With the affirmation, I flow with life's changes. Please join me in saying that. I flow with life's changes. Looking at my image in a mirror, I see myself at times when my life was changing. I may see the grinning child who lost a tooth for the first time, or the proud student on a graduation day. Perhaps I recall my ambitions when I embarked on a career. Maybe I feel a tinge of sadness revisiting the pain of the loss I felt during more difficult transitions. As I have grown spiritually, I've learned to flow with life's transitions. I know that even during the most challenging times, God remains a constant presence. I will always be divinely protected and one in God with the people I have loved. I also recognize that I move through ages and stages of my spiritual growth and consciousness. So too does the loving presence of God nurture and sustain me as I pass through all the phases of my growth. Moving willingly and gratefully through my transitions deepens and strengthens my awareness of God and myself as a divine being. And from Ecclesiastes, for everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. So let's repeat that affirmation one more time. I flow with life's transitions.
I know your time on earth was trouble. Only you could know the pain. You weren't afraid to face the devil. You were no stranger to the rain. Go rest high on the mountain. Oh, your word on earth is true. Go to heaven shouting love for the Father and the Son. Oh, how we wept day you left us, gathered round your grave to grieve. How I wish I could see the angels' faces when they hear your sweet voice sing. Go rest high on the mountain, for your work on earth is through. Go to heaven shouting love for the Father and the Son. Go to heaven shouting love for the Father and the Son.
Ooh. It is All Saints Day, or All Saints Week. And we had the remembrance and Dia de los Muertos, and wow, let's go to heaven shouting. That fits today so well, you have no idea. So thank you. You know, we've been, just a quick catch up. We have a class going right now. It's a book called Birthing a Greater Reality. It's by a Reverend Robert Brummett, Unity minister. And he's talking about, in the very essence of what this book is about, is this folding of a new and greater reality of us, of each of us. And not only of each of us individually, but where the world is going. Just a quick recap, a couple key terms that will really help us today is, and I used these terms the other day, is that we had this beautiful, creative explosion of something profound that we call the planet. You know, the material, the geosphere, the material plane of all that is, billions of years of creativity. And then something again tipped. Again, almost what you might think is miraculous that showed up online, and it was life. Somehow, out of this great soup of materiality, hearts started beating. Awareness started happening. Living started happening. And then we had a biosphere. And that went on, this reality for billions of years. And then what shows up is a next phase of a calling of spirit. And it's not only matter, and it's not only life, but it's consciousness. It's I know, and I know that I know, and I know that I know that I know, and I know that I know that I know that I know, and you can keep stacking. It said, how far down does it go? And as the old adage goes, it's just who knows that? Where does it sit? It sits on a turtle. Where does that turtle sit? On another turtle. Well, where does that? It's on another turtle. It's turtles all the way down. It's deep. It's profound, this unfolding into this new, and we talked about this wonderful sort of mystic named Teilhard de Chardin, this mystic who talked about this geosphere of matter on top of a life sphere, which he called a biosphere, on top of a mind sphere, which he called a new sphere, mind in French, nous, the new sphere, the consciousness sphere, this great sphere of knowing. And so we're standing now in this place where the world, because it's a planet, it's an earth, and now we live in a world of culture, of consciousness. And the world that we're in is evolving, and it's going, woo! It's happening, man. It's happening. And we're right in the middle of it. And what we've been doing in the class and what we wanted to share with you is these evolutionary unfoldings of consciousness. And so, this happens on Saturday nights for me. I don't know. It's usually about 3 in the morning. I don't know what time it happens for you. But I bet most of you guys have a time in the middle of the night where you wake up and go, ooh. Oh, write that down. Am I right? What time is it for you guys? It's 3 in the morning for me. What time? 2:30. 3, 2:34, where all of a sudden you've been reading something, churning on something, writing something, creating something, making something, co-creating, and you're in that space, and all of a sudden you wake up and you go, ooh. And I thought about, well, what's a story? What's a story of this evolving consciousness, of this movement? And it's like we ascend to new levels. We reach out to new levels. And I thought, oh, there is a story about, it's called Jacob's Ladder. Thus the ladder. And do you know Jacob's Ladder? Many of you know the story. And I want to talk about that for a second. But first, and so that's the story. And I got the hit. It's like, wait a second. There's more to the story. And I said, one of these prayers, it's like, should I do that story all of a sudden? And I heard God go, sure. Not a mandate, but like, yeah, do that. Let's see where it goes. So before I do the story, let me say the backstory. And Brummett talks about all these ways that the consciousness evolves and shows up and comes online. And he talks about this sense of a shadow. Ooh, we've been having fun in class with shadows. And the shadow, when you look up and you go, everyone else is going, oh, yeah, I saw that happen. Yeah, that's a bummer. And you're going, oh, that just makes me so mad. I can't believe that happened. And everyone's looking at you like, man, that's really out of proportion to what just happened, Why? Because your shadow's got you. It's this projection of this thing I don't want to look at in myself. So I'll just project it out on you and make, oh, now that's, that. Look what those people do. Who's doing it? And it goes the other way as well. You look at someone and you go, God, that person, I just so admire them. There's just this thing about them I just admire so much. Well, what you're seeing is this projection of our own inner essential self-energies that's going, oh, that's me. This is the shadow play. And Brahma talks about all these different mechanisms for us unfolding in this new area of consciousness. It's like there's little personalities, there's little things that take over. It's that one that says, I'm going to say yes to do this, but I really don't want to. I want to say no, but I say yes. Or just the opposite. I go, no, I can't. And inside you're going, I would really like to do that, but I'm afraid, I'm embarrassed, I can't do it. I've been told I'm no good, blah, blah, blah. All these things, these little things come up. And when you feel that energy, I want to say yes, but I'm not. Something's got you. There's something at play in the subconscious. And this awakened awareness is spotting these things, spotting them when they happen and go, aha, look at me. I'm just acting like a jerk. Isn't it great? I got a shadow going. I get to look at this. Woo! Or whatever, those strong emotions, we just go, let me look at that. Something is turning in my subconscious that wants to come out and be held and be embraced. Not made wrong, not made right, not made good, not told it's bad. It just wants to be looked at so it can be embraced and integrated to the fullness. Do you ever, in unity, do we ever pray like, I'm going to affirm I'm good? I've never prayed that way. I'm gonna make an affirmation. I'm going to see the divine, and I'm going to see how bad those people are. Never. But we do say, I'm going to affirm wholeness. The wholeness of us is unfolding, and we can embrace the wholeness, the perceived good, the perceived bad, the things we throw out as, oh, these things are great, oh, these things, the wholeness, the inclusion, the integration of the energies of our life. Even the integration of the stuff that looks like, I'm not saying we should integrate it, meaning, oh, I have this things I want to do that are really like harmful or violent, or I'm going to do them. No, it's not acting out. It's not acting out. It's noticing the energy that is the truth of my being and integrating that and knowing that truth. And just by holding it, just by seeing it, it loses its control and its grasp on us by feeling it. Getting into that essential nature. And so by this integration, and the big question, the number one question, when these energies come up, what do you have for me? What gift? What gift do you have for me? You ever had a dream where, you're running and there's this big something chasing you, gorilla, Oh, here's the way to do this. You're running, it's like, oh my gosh, what's going on? In the dream, just stop. Turn around to whatever this big scary thing is and go, what gift do you have for me? And it goes, oh, well, actually, I wanted to tell you something. Has that happened to you? You can do this in your dream. Just stop and do it. Okay. This is what we've been doing in class. Shadow play. Woo. It brings up so much awareness for our own integration. Shadow play. And Carl Jung, talks about this thing that I think I am, or I want to show the world, is a mask. And it gets the Latin word persona. And what I don't want you to see, I hide in the shadow. So it's this persona, shadow, these two energies at play. And if you're seeing floating over my head a giant yin-yang sign, you're hearing rightly. A giant yin-yang sign. Because when you look at the yin-yang, you go, look, it's two, it's yin and yang, but it's all in a circle. It's all one. There's a wholeness to it. There's a balance to it. So I want to tell you a story, and this comes from the book of Genesis, which is in what we call Hebrew scripture. And here's the 3 a.m. piece about this story. I thought, here's an interesting thing about, say, the Bible. Let's say Hebrew scripture, what some people would call Old Testament. Whose stories are they? Who do they belong to? Now, you might say, well, if I've grown up in the West and I've self-identified as a Christian, or I'm like I would say, a follower of the teachings of Jesus of Nazareth, if I'm in that space and energy, well, they're my stories. Yeah, okay, good enough. Or I grew up in the Middle East, maybe self-identified Jewish. Those are my stories. They are. But who else do those stories belong to? They belong to anybody who picks it up and enter it with the spirit of openness to take in the value of those stories. We are up here talking about the Tao. I talk about the Tao all the time. I've never been to China. I'm very careful not to appropriate anything that's like I'm trying to understand it through the lens of someone who grew up with the Tao in China. How could I? I don't know. But I go to the Tao and I'm wow. I go to it with this sense of openness and say, what do you have to teach me? That same question. What do you have to offer me? These stories are the world stories. The new oosphere, this world of consciousness, has opened us up now with internet, with travel, with meeting people, with knowing multiple languages, with Wikipedia. I mean, you can go on and learn so much about so many other cultures. All of these stories are there for you and for me. We might have to understand them in the cultural context. We might understand what some of the words is. And certainly when I go into Hebrew scripture, when I go to the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, I try to look at what some of these words mean and what they would have meant to the people at the time. Of course, you got to do some work and understand the cultures they come from. Of course we do. But they're not there for me to understand them. That might be good. But they're mostly there for me to understand and be a tool for the unfolding of consciousness for me and for you and for all of us. We live in this consciousness sphere. All of this stuff, the world's traditions, all these beautiful stories, all these things are available for all of us. Amen. Yeah. You know, yoga is there for the people of India, right? Anyone gone to yoga recently? It is now here. It is in the consciousness sphere, the great wisdom in tools. You sit and you can read from the Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, Sutras of the Buddha. They're online for us, and they're there for me to understand maybe some of the history of India, but they're there for me and you to understand us, for the unfolding of us, for the good of all of us. So I want to read you a story. This comes from Hebrew scripture, the book of Genesis. It's about Jacob's ladder. Well, I'll tell you just a bit of the backstory, because this is a great story of this awakened, these dreams that change the world. Abraham and Sarah have a child, Isaac. He marries Rebekah. Isaac and Rebekah have 2 children, Jacob and Esau. Esau is the oldest, Jacob's the younger. And when Esau came out first, Jacob came out grabbing on his heel. And the word Jacob means like the supplanter, the heel grabber, the one that comes next, the one that comes after, the one that follows. Or I might say, the next step in evolution. I'll just add that. That's not in the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, but I don't know if they were saying that 100 years ago. The supplanter, the next phase of things. And Esau is described as this person who's big and he's strong and he's always got a sword and he's kind of very hairy and he gets animals and he's kind of wild and it's this sense of he's very attuned to the physical nature, his physical life. And Jacob is much more sensitive to dreams and to language. Esau's off hunting, he's out with the sheep and he's in his evolution of his mind, his sense of his thought world, his expansive world, his spiritual connectivity is heightened. And if once again you see a yin-yang over my head of Esau and Jacob, you're right. You're getting, this is it. Because where we're going with these 2 characters is not to make one right and one wrong, one better and one worse. It's an integration of the energies for the wholeness of who we are. Then Jacob, you might go, he's the supplanter. He came next. He transcended the energy of Esau. Yeah, but then we include it. It's an integration. There's a transcend and then include. Always transcend and include. And so we have Jacob, who worked with his mom, Rebekah, and he tricks Isaac when Isaac is old, and he goes in and he dresses like with camel skin, and like a hairy guy, and he goes in and he gets the blessing from the family. The blessing, the transverse is now moving. The evolution of consciousness is moving us to a new level of awakened awareness, and it moves on to Jacob. Of course, Esau hears it and says, I'm going to kill you, man. So he runs for it. And he's out in the desert running for it. And here's what happens. So Jacob leaves Beersheba, and he went towards Haran, which, by the way, is up on a hill. So he's going up in consciousness. And he came to a certain place, and he stayed there one night because the sun had set. Yeah, when the sun sets, there's times in life you just stop. There's a time to go, and there's a time to just stop, right? It's these balanced energies. And then he took a stone in the place and he put his head on it and he lay down in the place. And he dreamed there was a stairway. Now, some interpretations say it's a ladder and some people say it's a ramp. Stairway is probably the best interpretation. I didn't have a stairway to put on the stage, so we're going to go with ladder. He dreamed there was a ladder set up on the earth, the top of it reaching to heaven, and the angels of God, thank you for your song about the angels, were ascending and descending on the ladder. Wait, let me say that again. See if you catch this. Jacob has this dream, and the angels of God are ascending and descending. Do you hear that? They're not descending from heaven and going back. The start of the journey when Jacob's dream is the angels are ascending and descending. So where are they to start with? If they start by ascending, they're there is part of the nature of Jacob to start with. the energies, these energies of light, these energies of the messenger, of the divine principle are there with Jacob to start with. They ascend, and then they descend. They ascend because Jacob's consciousness is there. He sees this pathway. He's feeling this energy of a transformation of consciousness that keeps going. The invitation is that we sit and we get into this space where the possibilities of our life is that we ascend towards this energy, this heavenly energy, this awakened energy, this light energy. It's the calling of all of us. We ascend. He doesn't say, I'm going to sit here and wait for God to come down to me. The start of the journey starts, as Teilhard says, is radial energy, this radial love. It starts in our hearts. It starts right where we are with the tools and the energies we have to ascend, to move on. And then they descend back. We transcend, we include. We transcend, we include. We keep moving, embracing, integrating, including. And then Jehovah, the Lord, God, stood beside him. That's kind of fun. Oh, hey. And said, I'm God, the God of Abraham, your father, the God of Isaac, and the land on which you lie, I'll give you and your offspring. The land I will give you, Jacob, the place in each of us, the Jacob energy, the one energy of our life that is on the pathway to ascending and being awake and aware to new levels of consciousness, the one who's ready to open the gate into new levels of awakened awareness. You, that Jacob. You see, this story's for us. I want to be, lots going on in the world. So I'm being really careful here. This was my 3 a.m. This is about all of us. I'm giving it to you, the divine says, source energy, source divine, to that Jacob energy that's on this evolutionary journey. So your offspring will be like the dust, these awakened ideas, this movement. You'll spread abroad to the west, the east, the north, the south, and all the families of the earth will be blessed in you and your offspring. Some of the families will be blessed? No. All the families of the earth will be blessed. Thank you, Jacob. This is not, who's this story for? It's for all the families of the earth. All these stories, the Mahabharata, the sutras, the Christian scripture, the wisdom that comes out of Africa, the stories that come out of Scandinavia, the stories that the Lummi will tell, that the Blackfeet will tell, that the Dene will tell, all the Aboriginal peoples, all the Islam, all these great stories. Who are they for? They're here in the collective, now available to all of us to awaken us to this next stage for all of us. This is really important. Because right now in the world, we're saying, this is my story, it ain't yours, and my story's better than yours. I'm right and you're not. Oh, you're saying your story's better than mine. Wow. And people pull out arms. They're fighting over their stories. It's everybody's story. It belongs to Christians, people self-identifying, to Muslims. It belongs to the people of Israel. It belongs to the people in Gaza. These stories belong to everybody. And the stories we don't know belong to all of us too. And if we can sit in this energy of this vision, of these stories, of this love that's transmitted through these great pieces to bring harmony, integration. Oh, there may be differences. Once again, you see in the big yin and yang. But it's all a whole. Integration is the key. And then God says, I'm with you and I will keep you wherever you go, even to Bellingham. Here we are. I'll not leave you until I have done what I have promised you. And Jacob woke up from his sleep and he said, surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. You know that song? Yeah. But I didn't know it. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place, for this people, for us right now. This is a story about unity in Bellingham, in some little community in Africa. and somebody up and said, it's for all of us. Whew. But he was afraid, and he said, God, this place is awesome. This is the house of God, the gate of heaven. And on his head, he set this oil, this piece of rock. He said, it's a pillar. He poured oil on it. He said, it's sacred. This earth, this place on this planet, my place where I stand, where I live, where I grow, it is a holy place, and I will bless it. And he called it Beth-El. Beth is house, El is like El Shaddai. It's a house of God. This place is the home of God. This place, do you know that? This place is the home of God. The name of the city used to be called Luz, which means separation. No more. And then he made a vow saying, God is with me and keep me this way, and I'll go and I'll give he'll give me bread to eat and clothing to wear, so that I can come again to my Father's house in peace, and God shall be my God, and this stone I have set up as a pillar shall be God's house, and all that you give me, I'll give 1/10 back to you. Part of where the idea of sharing and tithing, because in this place of consciousness, and by the way, this sense of all that you give me, I will give back to you. I mean, this guy's roaming out in the desert. What do you mean, give what? You got nothing, man. It wasn't, when he said this, it wasn't about stuff. It was about being connected. All that you give me, everything that you can bless me with, everything I can understand, everything I can awaken to, everything that's important in this way, I will give back to you. How? Well, how do you see God? I give it back to the community. I give it back to the family. I give it back to the city of Bellingham. I give it back in service to the poor. I give it back in my time and my generous giving of all that I have. Time, money, expertise, love, care. I'm on this journey, this evolution of consciousness. Do we want to be the one who wakes up and goes, I got angels descending in heaven. Here's what's happening in my heart. Here's what's happening in my soul. Angels ascending, leading me on to new places of awakened consciousness. So it goes back to the question. Okay, I do. I want to feel this experience of angels ascending and descending and in new levels of consciousness. And it goes back to the question then, well, how do I raise my consciousness? What do I do? And this is what we've been talking about, spiritual practices. Spiritual practices. And we talk all the time about meditation and prayer. Yeah, put those up, and yeah, those are the ones, right? And also, check out your dreams. Check out the shadows and the projections. Find those places. When those places I get really upset and I feel really uncomfortable, say, I don't feel very comfortable with this. This is really putting me off. There's something about this that's making me go, oh, I don't know if people saw the way I'm acting right now. They'd think very highly of me. Yay, look at that. Unfurl those shadows. Take a look at that, of that whole play. The story ends later, many chapters later. You guys probably know most of the story, where Jacob, now uber wealthy, got 2 wives, lots of kids, millions of cows and cattle and camels and horses and all this stuff, goes back and he meets his brother Esau, who comes up with an army and his swords. And when they meet, they hugged, and they found a way to be together. Integration and the wholeness. That's what the story tells. We move to integration and the wholeness. It's an interesting thing. I saw Robert Brummett talking on a video, and he said something I thought was powerful. These shadows, these projections we put out, Oh, there's Jesus. We worship. I couldn't be like him. I so honor him. But how could I be like him? And we project out the shadow of this awesome spiritual teacher. But the Christ that you're seeing in Jesus is the Christ in me. We project it out. And then, oh, look at those people, those devils. Guess what? Yeah. All those negative energies. Again, I'm not saying if we see those negative energies and we know they're the truth of me too. Oh, if people just knew what I thought. We do know what you think. We're all human. We think that stuff. Sorry. All those negative things that run around in our minds. Yeah. What? Yeah. Hello, people. Not saying to act out on some of the crazy stuff we think, but own it. Turn it around. That energy that just makes me angry, I want to go, and I just want to go, smack somebody down. And own it and go, I've got energy. How can I use that to the good? How can I use that energy to unfold a way for a world that works for all? Harness it, use it. Instead of going, oh, look at those people. Yeah, then there's me. Yin and yang. We want wholeness, integration, bringing all these energies of our life to harness them and use them. How can they serve? Oh, the other one is like, oh, this is a good one. We're going to heaven and you're going to hell. And these people over here who we just told that go, well, according to my belief, we're going to heaven and you're going to hell. There needs to be multiple heavens and hells. Like, I'm in this guy's heaven, but this guy's hell. And this, How do you make sense of that? I don't even try. The idea is to see all those energies and invite all people into this movement of transformed consciousness to the higher joy, to the higher beauty, to the higher goodness, to the next phase of expressed love. The next phase of expressed love. And the part of the way we can express real, deep, profound love is we need to get connected to all those energies of our life. All of it. Who's the stories for? All of us. Who's these energies for? All of us. What do we need to integrate into our life? All of it. The path. It's like when we get there, we might be in what would you call it? Unity. Amazing how that works. I wrote some down as I was sitting there. Oh yeah. One last thing. So with each of these activities, and we feel that shadow, that something coming up, that high energy, that something, even if it's like, wow, I really did that well, or I really messed that up. Whatever it is, say thank you. What gift do you have for me? Did you have a really bad day the other day? Oh my God, you wouldn't believe what I did. Yay! What gift do you have for me to integrate to move on for higher levels of consciousness? Always with the background, as Teilhard there Shadan said, always with the background, always with the energy that this next state of consciousness is a radial energy of love. So let's do this. Let's do some ascending. We ascend first because we're ready to go. And then the angels of our life descend again. And we transcend and we include and we integrate and we find our wholeness. May all of us experience this wholeness, this fullness. May all of us step out of, in some way, the right, wrong energies of life, the good, bad energies of life. Find how these are often imposters and fool us. Let's stand into the what can I see of the energies? How can I integrate? And then how do I step forward in love? Putting down the instruments of violence, putting down the instruments of separation, putting down the language of me versus you, putting down the language of let's separate ourselves in consciousness, putting down that's my book and that's your book and we're not talking to each other. No, it's all a matter of affirming the truth of the spiritual nature of our humanity, this unfolding of consciousness, this noosphere, this collective unconscious, this whole movement in the embrace of this consciousness sphere that's sacred and holy and leading us to levels of our humanity we don't even know yet. We can't even fathom. It's amazing where we're going. We're going, I don't know. We're on this journey. We're part of it. We're in the stream. We're flowing. We're creating. It's unfolding. And as Robert Brummett said, on this evolutionary journey into the next stage of something wonderful. And it's the Spirit of God, the Spirit of love that's going, yep, come on. Here we go. We unfold. So that's my ending prayer. One of wholeness. One of wholeness. Know our wholeness. Okay? Good. Blessings.
Oh, well, fellow travelers on this journey, we've come to the point of our service for our offering now. So, as our ushers come forward, we know abundance is our divine inheritance. Giving is our gift of love and appreciation. We always appreciate your generosity in support of this ministry we are creating together. This includes all of you in person, as well as all of you who join us online. Thank you. So as you take your offering to your heart, affirm quietly to yourself, I give freely and joyfully, for God is my source, and I have abundance in all areas of my life. Please join me in saying our offertory blessing. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. So it is.
Good morning. Thank you again, Frank, for that. I was born in Browning, Montana, off the Blackfeet Reservation, and adopted into an Irish-American family. And my mother being Swedish-American of descent. So my dad was very white, my mother was very white. And they never made it a point to say, this is what you are from us. It was just a given that you're our family, you're our babies. And I was watching TV one day, and it was old Western, and they were shooting them up. And they were shooting up the Indians, the Native Americans, if you will. And I turned around, I looked at my dad, and I said, I would hate to be a Native American, Dad. Both my mom and dad went, oh. And it changed them, and they said, you know what we got to do is, they started taking us to powwows and bringing us around other Native folk. And themselves learned a lot through that. Now, what Frank was talking about earlier was growing up away from my family, I made bad choices. And I learned from them, and I grew from them. I changed. But I did see how many shadows we carry, all of us. And when I wrote this song, I was in the midst of my addiction of alcohol. And thank God I've passed that for now, you know. And it's no longer in my presence. The first person I talk about isn't anyone I know, but everyone out there that can fit into that slot. I chose to name Billy. Billy is a highly, highly intelligent person. He could figure out all of your problems and probably solve them. But he couldn't solve his own problem. And then the next person I talk about is Sarah. And she's so pretty. And she lived where everyone was at. She lived in the city. And by all appearances, she had it all. But what we don't know is that from a very early age, she was born into addiction. And she was always looking for that next fix, whether she wanted to or not. It was just born into it. And then the last person I talk about is myself. And how not dealing with my shadows and not dealing with my past, I made poor choices. And poor me. So sad and all alone. But it wasn't true. So, please enjoy this. The song is called simply Dancing with Shadows. So I'm just going to take you back to a dark place just for a little while. Billy the Brain, drowning in pain, French kissed the bullet, now he falls like rain. But peace didn't come, and heaven refused. Now he sits in his wheelchair, dazed, confused. Dancing with shadows, I know how it goes. Dreams aren't that easy to dream, so who knows? The victims move endlessly and their eyes slowly close. They're dancing with memories, shadows. Sarah, so pretty, she lived in the city, but raised on the needles and pills, what a pity. Now she sleeps in a coma, in a bed without a wrinkle. She waits for the stars, waits for that twinkle. She's dancing with shadows, you know how it goes. Dreams aren't that easy to dream, so who knows? Victims move endlessly and their eyes slowly close. Dancing with memory, shadows. See them on the corner, talking to themselves. Shadows. See them on the streets, dancing by themselves. Shadows. Question the wind as it moves across the floor. I question the room as I open that door. In a wink I shiver, in a wink I cry. Deny, deny. I sit on stone, cold and alone, haunted by memories, and they cut to the bone. The wounds never heal, the blood never flows. I'm dancing with memories, shadow. Hey.